Okay, so I already had this kind of thought about it a little bit, and I was thinking about how I'll want to go and do something, and then I'll just think about how to do it the whole time I'm about to do it. And usually it'll just lead me to either not do it or, I do start it. And what I've noticed is that most of the time I end up not doing it and I do something else. I do something else kind of in a procrastination sense where I'm about to do it, I think about how to do it, and then I get confused. And I think the problem there is just thinking too hard about how to do it and not noticing that there really wasn't anything there to think about. I was thinking about what kind of problems will I have? And I don't know because I haven't started. And I do want to start. I'm afraid of failure, definitely. And I think that shows. And I don't think it's useful. It's definitely not useful. What does it even mean to fail? It's weird how failure is a concept that's used, at least for me. I don't know exactly how it benefits me. I mean, yeah, I don't know. It seems like that I could just, okay, well, failure to me, I suppose, is just the feeling that I want to do something better. I'm like, oh, you know what? Really wasn't proud of that. I mean, for things that have like no consequence, failure is so weird. And by that I mean like pursuing an art or something like that, or trying to learn something. But when it comes to like meeting a person's expectations and kind of treating them fairly, that's where failure makes more sense to me, I suppose. But I guess when it applies to just doing something for yourself, trying to learn in general, have a good time, failure is weird to me because let's say I do art and I make a picture and it looks kind of off, and let's say I'm more experienced. And so there's not too much that's like so off to me because I've already worked on things. So what use is it to me to say that I failed? Should I just stop, or should I just think about it, I guess? I feel like it's not useful to punish yourself for trying because all you can do is put in effort, right? And you can only fail by putting in effort. So you don't want to beat yourself up for putting in effort because all you can do to succeed, in air quotes, is to try. And trying is everything. And it's the whole process. Trying is doing, really. It's just, there is only doing. And sometimes during doing or after doing, you look at something and you say, hey, that's nice. Or you say, hey, maybe I could do it better. That's helped me be productive. And yeah, I notice that I'll get in my head about fear of looking dumb or something. I'll go too fast on something. I always compare myself to someone. Like, I'll look at someone random and I'll just be like, oh, they do this so well. And I'm like, why don't I do this that well? And then I try to just like do that thing. Usually I'll make a lot of decisions really fast. Just uninformed decisions. They're just, I'm put in a situation, I make an immediate decision. It's good enough. But later, structurally, that decision just turns out to be really not useful. And those decisions that I build off of that are made in those quick moments, just I have to go back and kind of redo most of what I did. So I'm learning to take things a lot slower and not focus so much on results, which is it's weird because it's so obvious. Like, I don't know. I feel like things are in front of my face, but it's like I don't take them seriously enough. So it's kind of weird, but I don't know. It's all right. It's not too bad. And I'm getting better at it. So that is nice. I think enjoying just discovering things is cool. Because I feel like that's pretty much all that happens. And I think it's like that's the fun part about most everything, at least for me. And the people that or at least the times in my life where they're the most exciting, it's like I am choosing to go somewhere that I haven't gone. And I'm choosing to interact with things that I don't usually interact with. And it makes me feel like a different person, and it makes me feel more open, and it's just exciting. And I don't have to think about things as much, and it feels cool. I forgot what I was talking about, honestly. Something about, well, it started with being confused about how to do something. I moved on to something else. I'm trying to remember. I think I went on some random tangent. Yeah, I don't know. I like sitting in the silence, like in my room. I don't do that often. Honestly, I'm usually like doing something random. And it's really distracting. It's like, it feels distracting. It's like funny because I don't know. It's like, what is it distracting me from, I guess? I think it's just like, sometimes I'll meditate, like rarely, but when I do, it's like I notice that like I'm getting caught up a lot in shit, and it's not as fulfilling because it's like I'm waiting for cues, to have some kind of reaction to something. It feels like that. It doesn't feel like I'm doing something. It feels like I'm just distracted. So that probably has to do with the confusion as well. It's just not taking time away from like my computer enough or my phone, or just I don't know. I think something really nice to do is just lay in your bed, just talk to yourself, and I don't know. I enjoy that a lot. Although I haven't done it very much in like years, but it's nice. It just feels like, I guess it's like self-therapy, and it's just like self-sorting your thoughts out. It's literally just like talking to someone, but it's like the perfect listener, I guess. Because like, I don't know, you are the most interested in your own problems, right? And yeah, it's just like relevant. And you don't have to think about anything else. I mean, even if you are like a bad listener, which I think I'm a bad listener, to be honest. It's easy. It's like you're going to get distracted by yourself. Like, I don't think you're not going to get mad at yourself for being a bad listener. And I think you could never really be a bad listener. Well, maybe you could be a bad listener yourself. I guess that is just like getting distracted. And you probably would be, it might make me better at listening personally. I don't know, like it's weird because I'll talk about concepts and it seems like it's like a global thing, like it can apply to anyone, but I really don't know like how everyone functions personally. So it's like weird to think like I'll do something for myself and I'll think that like everyone will have the same interaction. But I don't think that's true. But I don't think I can get any more information on that. I don't know how to like learn about that. Now I'm getting confused. But yeah, laying in bed is nice. I just it feels like really cool, I think, to talk out loud just about like random stuff. And this is supposed to be ASMR. Although it's very like shoddy because I didn't really like research anything. I'm just like, okay, I'll just talk into a mic like kind of quietly and see if that works. So there's that. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, I'm trying to think of like something interesting. I mean, interesting to me, I guess, because then I'll go on a tangent about it. Okay, I do art. I like to talk about art. Everything's weird, I guess, art-wise. And what I mean by that is, like, it's funny that I don't know how. I feel like intuitively, I already knew these things, or like this specific thing. But, like, I think later I realized, like, conceptually, like, that, like, things are relative to each other. Like, colors and lines and shapes. And, like, I used to play, like, sports, and I knew that everything was relative intuitively. Like, I'd run up to some person with the ball. Like, I'd play soccer, run up to someone, and I do like a specific action. And I would do that action specifically for that person because I was trying to be like mindful about my actions when I was young, at least when I was playing soccer. And I would pay attention to what they do. Like, I go up to them. Do they just immediately like throw something out at me? Do they just like kick at the ball? Like, if so, like I was always like a forward, so I was like aggressing, and that was the most fun to me because like you get to, I mean, you get to aggress, you get to like test people, and defense. I mean, you usually like are reactive, you know, and I mean, most defenders really. I mean, when you're a kid, especially, just go for the ball because like they're like, yo, there's the ball, and then they kick it like they want to kick it. So you just put it in front of them a little bit. Like everyone has a range, and I guess intuitively like you find out like a specific range where people usually like go for you and you can react. And I guess it's like whatever your like personal reaction time is. Everyone has like the average reaction time, so it's like God, now I'm getting confused, but like I guess that pretty much like determines the zone at which things are gonna happen. And I mean nobody's gonna think about that, especially when you're like 12. Like who's gonna think about that? Uh, and I don't even know how you would apply that. That would be insane. I mean I'm sure people do that, but anyway, like it's more interesting to like go for something. It feels more bold. It feels more progressive because it's like, I don't know. If you make an analogy to life, I guess, you can always make an analogy to life with like anything, I suppose. And it depends on what you do. I figure that like determines how you look at life. So like, you know, being an aggressor, it's just like it's a progressive thing. It's like you're not reacting to life. You can, but you always have to like push. You have to find a way through. Um, and I'm sure that you can flip that kind of. You can make a defender a progressive like role as well. I'm thinking about that. But let me just move on a little bit. But also sports are fun. But yeah. Oh yeah, it's talking about everything is relative. Uh, I mean, I played music a little bit recently. I learned some like keyboard, and that was really fun. I love music, and it's like keys are just relative to each other. Like I play a note, and I play another note, and then I'm like, whoa, these notes sound pretty cool together. And then I play like that same first note with the note like right next to it, like a half step over. It's like, I guess like in music, it's like certain spacings generally sound nicer to like ears, people's ears. And I mean it depends on the context. See, it's relative. Like let's say I played two notes that typically don't sound nice together. I guess like nice, like they don't harmonize as well. Um they're like a little discordant. Like it's kind of eerie, I guess, but it doesn't have to be. Although I shouldn't act like I know that much really, but I think it's like okay, that creates a certain feel and a certain theme, and if I like repeat that, then it sounds like it's on purpose, and I guess that's like it's like what make people think that like something has a style. Like they're like, okay, this keeps consistently happening. It's kind of weird, and it's like, yeah, it's like a weird choice, like two discordant notes. That's kind of weird, but it makes me feel this specific way, or like in art, two of these weird colors. But you know, actually, when you like keep using them in whatever way that the artist is using them, it kind of makes its own sense. Kind of has its own thing going on. Um, so that's kind of how I see like relative stuff. Like they have like a story, I guess. With music, it's a lot easier to think about story, because like I'll think about music as like a as like a something moving through time. So like there's this note, it's like a really high note, but like is it high note or is it like a low note? I don't know yet. Like because I need to hear like the next notes. Um so it's like I don't know. I can like fucking eat my favorite cereal and then like the same day like and I can be like, "Yo, this rocks." And then I can like the same day uh I can like my crush like confesses to me, you know. Uh there are higher highs, and I didn't that like that part of the song wasn't developed yet until later. So it's like it's interesting. It's interesting to think about that stuff. What else? I don't know. I think that's about it, honestly. I think this has gone on a while. I don't know how long I've been talking, but if this does work as ASMR, then that is awesome. Um, Either way, it's nice to just unload my thoughts. It feels like good. Feels like I can think a little better whenever I do this. So, I mean, if anyone enjoys listening to this, then that is pretty cool. So, yeah, thank you for listening.